Good afternoon, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Happy Thursday. Welcome to your webinar, Postured Prospecting, where if you've ever had a fear of the phone or had no idea what to say to your prospect, then this webinar is for you. Today, I have the honor and extreme pleasure of having Bert Bledsoe with us here today, new L3 in MLSP. Hey, Bert, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Nina. Super excited to be here this afternoon.
Thank you for taking the time out and spending some time with us today. Everybody, what we want you to come away today is that our three things. This is our promise to you today. Three things that you're going to come away with through this conversation. And the first thing that you're going to come away with is that when you're on the phone, it's not about you. It's all about the person on the other end of the line. And the second thing that you're going to come away with is that when you posture yourself as a consultant, you take the pressure off of the person on the other line. And the last thing that we hope that you come away with here today is that rejection is not the end of the world. You will attract the right people to you. What do you think, Bert?
I think that is absolutely correct. I think if done correctly, you know, the people that are supposed to be with you will do exactly what you said. Is they will be attracted to you. They'll come to you because you're offering what they want, and that's what makes it attractive.
Amazing, awesome sauce. So we said that this is a candid and off-the-cuff interview, and the reason being is that Bert does not know the questions that I'm going to ask him. I have a whole bunch of questions here today, and we have a limited time. So without further ado, we're going to start. So are we ready? Are you ready?
We're ready.
Okay,
I think
awesome.
we're ready.
Awesome. I'm excited. Okay, first question. How did you start, Bert? Did you have a planned script in mind when you started prospecting people?
No. And so that, you know, when I first, I had no idea what I was doing. I literally I was so winging it. It was ridiculous. I had no idea what I was doing. Literally, when I came into the business, I really had never done any type of prospecting like that, right? All of the prospecting that I had done was like in real life because of my employer. So like you said, I'm in the My Lead System Pro. I use that system, right? Mm-hmm. Well, as you go into the system and as like you're walking through the step-by-step process, there's training along the way that shows you, you know, what to do step-by-step in that system. Well, one of the things that they talk about and one of the areas that there's training is in prospecting, in calling people, right? Mm-hmm. And so Bill Pesco-Salido has like a training module in there. That's where I started. That was like my first exposure to like how would you call people? What would you say? Because I'm sure there's people that before I even got to that point, before I saw those videos, I got like a phone number and tried to call someone and explain to them what I was doing, and I don't know what I told them, but it wasn't good. It didn't work.
I'm sure we all have had that experience. And yes, that clip of Bill Pesco-Salido in your MLSP back office is golden. And I also refer to that as well when I first started calling people. So that's amazing. I like your go-get-'em attitude, and that is essential when you're starting out calling people. So what are your best opening lines? I know you've called a lot of people now, and I know you have some good opening lines.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just try and be real. That's it. Usually, if I'm going to make an outgoing call, mm-hmm. The very first thing I do is say, hey. I don't even say hey. I say, may I speak with, and then mm-hmm. I use the first name of whoever it is that I'm trying to call. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, hey, if I was calling you, I'd say, hey, can I speak to Mina, please? And I would always say, please. Even if I thought you were Mina, I would never say, is this Mina? I just ask, hey, can I talk to Mina? May I speak with Mina, please? And then, and that's it. That's usually, I know it sounds like, really, that's the line, but that's usually it. Now, if I was someone that I had met via like a hangout like this or texting me and we were joking via text or something like that, you know, and like maybe say it was you, Mina, right? And let's say that we had been texting, and everyone always jokes about how we can't like read your name and just instantly pronounce it, right?
Yeah.
And so like I might call you and say, is this Miss Palaquibi? You know what I mean? And like try to say your name or something fun to like lighten it up if I had already had some type of exposure. But if it was someone just brand new, I would just literally open up with something simple like, hey, may I speak with, you know, whomever I'm looking to speak with, please.
I think that's really genuine. I think that is important to be genuine. I think when you go on a first name basis, you bring down the barriers. If you say, because what I used to do was I would say, hey, is this Bert Bledsoe? Or hey, is Mr. Bert Bledsoe there? And I've learned, I think I learned this through Bill Pesco-Solito, is that sounds very telemarketing. So it's better off to go with the first name because you sound genuine, you sound like the other person, and they tend to open up more to you when you come off that way. So you're doing it right. Yes. Awesome. So this might be a repetitive question, but do you prepare before you make your phone calls, or do you just dive right in?
No, I prepare. That's a great question, Mina. And I do. I mean, I prepare in the sense. So it's, I guess, twofold. One is I try and make all of my phone calls either at a certain time every day. When I'm doing calls, I try to make it at a same time so that I'm in that mode. Like that's the time of the day that I do that particular activity in my business. Now that's not to say that I'm not on the phone at other times, but let's say I was specifically making follow-up calls, right? Like outbound calls. I prepare in the sense that all I'm doing is that. I'm not trying to read emails. I'm not on Facebook or Skype. I'm not doing anything else other than talking to that person. In that regards, I do use my back office of My Lead System Pro. That's the system that I use to generate leads. So most of my leads are coming through that system. And in the back office, you can literally see all of your leads, and there's a little like a note taking. So it's kind of like a CRM, right? Like a client relationship thing. Like I don't know how to use all this like technical stuff, and a lot of times I just write it down on paper, but that was built in. So I started taking notes and leaving them right in there. Because you can type a note and then hit enter and it says, hey, you did this note, was posted on this day. So you can literally see what you did. So I prepare in that sense to like have things available that I want to have access to. But I try and make every call an open call, meaning I don't have an agenda on selling them something specific or doing like getting them necessarily to do something specific until I can get more information from them and ascertain how I may be able to help them. And to do that, I got to find out, A, do they have a challenge? B, do I have a solution that can match that?
That's awesome. That's coming from the point of a consultant. So you approach each call as a consultant. That's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm sure that has helped immensely with your conversions. That's pretty cool. So you say you get most of your leads from MLSP. Have you gotten your leads elsewhere? Have you ever bought leads?
Well, I did a co-op with a big group last summer, and so then we did as a group, we bought a bunch, like for our whole team, we bought a bunch of leads and had access to them through some training. And we did that specifically, not necessarily because we were like, oh, we're going to go, sell these people our thing, but it was really kind of an exercise in like, who's willing to step, right? So, and I'm just going to be, right, we said we were going to be candid, right?
Right, we are.
You and I were working on a project together, right? And we were working with Bill Pesco-Solito. We had that opportunity to be working with Bill. And so Bill even said, hey, when you guys call these people, when you're doing these calls, you can record them, right? He even said, like, you can record the call and send it to us, and he would go over it with us. Yes, so he was giving us that one-on-one, that ability to work with him. So really that process refined being able to talk to people. So yes, I have bought leads in the sense that we did that big co-op, and what an amazing experience that was to be able to get to be able to do such a volume of communicating with people, and then to get real-time direct feedback, right? That was huge. But yeah, there's other ways. I mean, I get most of my leads that way through, that I'm generating online through My Lead System Pro, but I'm actively like engaging people in social media, on Google Plus and Twitter, on Facebook, like in all these different channels where I can just literally go and meet people. And when I meet them and start building those relationships can turn into prospective leads, right? And it's really just as simple as when you find out what they're doing, and if maybe you have some things that you guys may be doing, like, oh, they're also in business, right? Online or a home-based business, you can just ask them, like, hey, would you be interested in checking out my newsletter, right? Or hey, I do a regular daily coaching call. Would you be interested in coming to that? And so I generate a lot of leads because people come to that as well. So I do have. I don't want to say MLSP was the only way, but MLSP is the way that I generate leads online, like an internet type approach where I have capture pages and people can come and look at content that's on the internet. But I do face-to-face, absolutely.
That's awesome. That's the building the relationship side, and that's how you attract people to you. MLSP is the foundation where you learn all this great marketing techniques, but we learn attraction marketing through MLSP. But I really like how you reach out to people, or you just be Bert online in all your social media, and you naturally attract people to you. And in reference to purchasing leads, a lot of people tend to look down on that. But if you look at it from the point of, I want to build my posture and I want to learn how to speak better to people, which is how I took it, that's a good thing. I mean, if you're out there and you're not expecting anything, you're just calling to reach out and network, but also to build up your strengths. That's a pretty good thing to do. It's an awesome thing to do with that. So here's a question. How about leads that you've never reached out to, or you just haven't had a chance to call and may have gotten cold? I hear that you have a unique opening line for people like that. Can you share?
Sure. I like to be inclusive, right? So the whole idea, you get to learn a lot. And if you do, you mentioned it, on doing all of those calls, you really get to learn a lot, because when you learn, okay, let me back up before I go to that line, because it's a great question, it's a good line, and it's a good approach to people, and really it's about an approach. It's not really about like if you say this one thing. And the reason I want to backtrack is because if you listen to me talking and you listen to someone else talking, and how we approach it, it might sound a lot different. Mm-hmm. But you have to start somewhere. You have to grab your fundamentals somewhere, right? So that's what I was able to do. I followed someone that I knew was prospecting and getting the result they desired, which was having people join their company, having people do what, grab the offer, right? So what I did was, instead of trying to learn a line or a script, what I did was go through their training and I would try to learn one thing, just one line, right? And then I would implement that one thing into my conversation until it was like mine. Okay. What I mean was, you might ask a question, like you might say, I don't know, I'll come back and give a good analogy, but how you may pose a question or how you may phrase something may be different than how I would phrase it, just because we're different people, right? Because you're a classically trained musician and you live in New York City and you speak multiple languages, right? Mm-hmm. So you might approach a question differently than a kid that grew up skateboarding on the beaches of California. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I say dude a lot. Do I try to clean it up when I'm getting professional? Yeah, but when I get excited, I say dude all the time because I said that. right? So if you talk to someone from the East Coast, they're probably not going to say dude. They'll say something different, right? So I think it's important to grab this one element, and just like a marketing element, I grabbed one element of the conversation until I could adapt it and make it my own. And just like you, with multiple conversations and then starting to do that multiple times, you start to become better at doing calls, right? You become better at doing cold calls. So if I am not able to get back to someone, if I can't get in touch with someone right away, I like to start off with opening with, may I speak with, whomever, and then I just start off with like, hey, I would like to apologize. Keep it simple. Like, hey man, I'm calling to apologize. Most people are like, what are you talking about? Like, hey, listen, I got your contact information quite a few days ago, and we've literally had such an amazing response with what we're doing that I haven't been able to get back to you yet. And for that, I apologize. By doing that, now not every time, but a good majority of time, what happens is the people kind of, and you can hear it in their voice, they're like, oh man, like, oh, it's okay. And you can almost like hear like the, and they're like, oh, and they kind of let that wall down, right? That's like the beginning of it. And that's something I learned early on, to listen for those things, right? This isn't something that I made this up. These are things that were taught to me that I found that I just started implementing. That's it. And you try different things, right? And some things you get a better response from people. What I found is when you do that, and when you're genuine about it, you don't just call people and be like, hey, sorry I didn't call you. You're like, hey man, I'm sorry. Like, I'm busy. Like, I got things going on and I totally overlooked it, and I apologize because I really am upset. I'm bummed out. I'm like, man, I wish I called you 4 days ago because we're doing some awesome stuff. This is amazing, right? Like, I found something that works, that changed my life and changed my business. I want to share that with people right away. That's so great. If it's genuine and it's coming from the heart like that, they'll know, and it will bring them it's like it's bringing them onto your team, right? Now it's like neutral ground, and it's not like you're there to sell them something, or you're not some weird telemarketer or something. So I hope that answered the question in a roundabout way.
Yes, it did. No, it went above and beyond of answering that question. I like the points that you brought out, is that you are different and I am different. We can take a script, and it's not bad to have a script, but you make the script your own, because we talk differently. I'm from the East Coast. You grew up on the West Coast. We have a different approach to things. We can take the same script and make it our own. And I like the genuine aspect of it, where you approach people and say, look, I'm sorry. It shows that you're a real person, in that you're working and you're busy, but you are still thinking about them. And so people can sense that. I think somebody had said a while back when we were doing that big co-op and we were doing the cold calling, and I think his name, I don't remember his name right now, I think it was Guy, he said smile. They hear your smile.
Right.
And when you're on the phone and you are smiling, they can hear your smile. And I've done it, and I can tell you from experience it does work. I'll smile, and I notice the response I get back. And I'm sure you have the same experience, Bert, that when you smile and you're very genuine, people do respond well to that. They do. Yes.
Absolutely. It's 100%. And you know what I think why we don't smile and why we get caught up is because when we first call people, we're nervous, right? We have like that heart, or maybe your heart's beating, or maybe your palms are just a little sweaty, right? Yeah. Or maybe you got a little sweat on your brow, right? Or maybe the tummy. Some people get a little, like your tummy gets a little queasy. You might feel like, ooh, I don't know, right? And then when you call a person, let's just pretend they have a question. Now, all of a sudden, we're like on the defense. Like they're getting us. Like, oh, well. And when we do that, that's where we get all flustered, and then we can't smile. When we think about it, think about this. Like, I guess this would be like kind of back to your preparation question. Imagine if you go into each call, like get excited. Like, I got a phone number of a person to call. Someone left their phone number because they want me to call. They're looking for you. They left their phone number because they want you to call them because they're looking for some of the information, some of the valuable resources that you've put out online for them. They're looking for that. They entered their information so that you would get in contact with them. So that's a reason to smile right off the bat, right? Like, hey, can I talk to, may I speak with Lisa, please? Right? This is Lisa. Hi, Lisa. It's Bert from Colorado. I'm calling you back. Right? I saw you were on my website the other day.
Golden nuggets, peeps.
Super easy, right? Super easy, friendly, right? And then all of a sudden now, that's like now you're postured without like you didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to do anything. You just called them. Hey, I'm calling you back. You came to my website. Easy, right? Like, and that's it. Like, and I get happy because I like it. Like, if you imagine maybe you're not generating leads. I remember what it was like when I wasn't generating leads. I remember what it was like when I was struggling on the telephone. So today, when I pick up the phone, I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful that there was people that came before me that were willing to say, hey, go do this. Go try this. This will help. Someone said, hey, do you know if you smile, it works? Hey, I'm glad someone told me, because didn't it help you once you found out?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So.
Cool. Yeah. Well, let me add a little extra question. Do you stand up when you make your calls, or do you sit?
I gotta tell you, I stand up, and I bought this thing. Now, some people got these cool Mophie things that like go right into your phone. It's like a battery charger.
Okay.
But my wife got me this like special custom case with my little picture on it, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can't put the Mophie. So I got this external case. It's like a battery charger, and I put it in my back pocket, right? So I can still, and I know this is goofy, but we said it would be candid. So if you come to my backyard, I live in Colorado. So I live in the mountains, and we live in the Rockies. So there's not a lot of grass and all that, you know, like landscaping. So in my backyard is really wide. And so I bought a like 60-yard piece of, or 60-foot piece of indoor-outdoor like putting green carpet.
Okay.
And it runs the length of my backyard. And when I'm on the telephone, I walk back and forth outside there. And really, I'm going to be honest, the real reason that I do that is A, I get bored just sitting in one place, and B, if I don't, when I'm on the phone, I start doing things on my computer because I can't help it. I don't know, it's in front of me, and then when I do that, I'm not focused, and I'm not paying attention to the person on the phone. So I just learned that when I just get up from my desk and walk away, it just works better for me. That's just what works for me. Now, I know some people that it works like them right there at their desk. It works. Boom, 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 boom. Right? I just come down in between calls and put my note in. Right? Like I left a voicemail or talked to them about this or sent them to this link or whatever, you know, whatever the note is that I'm keeping, and that's it. A lot of times I'll just take a pencil and paper outside to write the notes, and then I'll just come in and enter them on the, you know, on the computer later.
Yeah, that's something key. I agree with the standing up because you're more energetic. You get more air into your body, to your brain, and you are more focused on the person on the other line because the call is about them. I think so too. But then, you know, to each his own. Some people do well seated in front of their computer. Other people do well standing. I do like the standing. When I was doing my round of mad cold calling, I would stand up and talk to people on the phone. Yes. So I think that's a great idea. There's something else now I want to ask you. And there was something that you had said just now in your response, and I just forgot. But anyway, you say you have a certain time during the day to call your leads. What is your best time? Do you think there's a best time, or it just depends?
You know, I guess it just depends. I'm sure that you can go somewhere that there's some kind of like statistical analysis breakdown of when people are home and when you can get a hold of them and what the best time is. But I live in the middle of America, so the West Coast is an hour behind me, and the East Coast is 2 hours ahead of me, right? So if, let's say if I want to call at 5 o'clock, well, if I'm calling at 5 o'clock my time, right, then it's 7 o'clock on the East Coast. So maybe in the summertime and in the spring and summer and fall, now I'm calling during dinner time, right? Maybe in the winter time it's okay. But then sometimes you call in the winter after it's dark and people get weird, right? Like, so there's all these things. You know, I call most of my calling from, and I'm in the Mountain Time Zone, I mostly do my calling from 3 to 5, my time. Right? So it kind of falls back on the West Coast, but it's a little bit later on the East Coast. And you know what? If people don't answer, I leave a message. And you'll be surprised if you leave a message how many people, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what to say. What I would encourage you to do is go, if you're in My Lead System Pro, go through the training that's part of it, right? There's some of these are already there, right? Go listen to that, find out what other people that have been doing have done, and then adapt your own way. You know, find what's going to work directly for you. But I find that leaving a message, if you leave a good message, a lot of times you will get calls back.
Yes.
And sometimes you won't. I'm not worried about the calls back that I don't get. I'm only worried about the people that called me back. That's it. I don't spend any time whatsoever thinking about the people that don't call. Just like I'm not thinking anything about the people that I get leads that don't leave their phone number. I'm not thinking anything about it. All I'm thinking is that I will be emailing them, and hopefully within that email series they'll find something. If they don't leave a phone number, I don't. That's it. I just worry about who I can communicate with.
Okay. So do you have a number of times you follow up with a person with a lead if you leave a message for them and they don't call you back, or do you just go on to the next one?
Well, I guess it depends on how. I mean, to be really, if we're going to be candid, in the beginning I probably called back more times than I do now.
Okay.
Because quite honestly, I'm just busier now. So I just don't have the time. It's not that I don't want to talk to the people. It's just like if I'm going to reach out and leave a voice message once and then maybe a second voicemail, like if and I've left my number and ways for them to call me back and they don't, then listen, I'm not here to chase them down. I don't have time for that, right? I'm looking for the people that are looking to do what we're doing. I'm looking for people that want to be going and moving and taking action. I'm not looking for the guy that I'm not trying to call someone 4 times and talk. I'm not trying to talk them into something. I'm looking for people that are looking for what we got. And if they don't want what I got, that's okay. There's a lot of other people that may have what they want. I can refer them out. I can say, hey, well, I don't do that, but this person does. Hey, go check out this, right? I mean, I refer out a lot, especially with training, because I don't do a lot of things or I don't have that expertise.
I like your servant leadership in that sense, where you have no qualms recommending other people for training, or if you know that the person that you are speaking to needs something that you don't have right now in your arsenal, but you know somebody who does, you can refer them out to that. So that is amazing. That is amazing, because that shows the generosity and the leader that you are. That's an amazing attribute. Have you ever had to say no to somebody because they were not a fit for your team?
Yes, I've had to say no to people that weren't a fit for my team. And I've also had to say no to people because I'm just not, I'm not where they are. I don't do, there was a point in my career where I was limited to some, geographical boundaries. And so because of that, there would be people that would reach out that I was developing relationships with that was us doing some coaching, or maybe me being able to show them a product or something. A training product, right? Like some Facebook training, or maybe some SEO training, or keyword or video training, something like that. That was going to be as far as the relationship was going to go, because I wasn't in a company that worked where they were. I wasn't there's people, because when you work online, you can meet people from all over the world.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so, yeah, I've had to turn people away from that. And then there's just sometimes you talk to people and, you know, it just doesn't click. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, nah, I don't know if this is like, and so, like I said, I'm not trying to sell people on it, right? So if they're not like about it or they're not like in it, then sometimes it's better to say, hey, you know what, maybe you would be a better fit over here. Especially for myself, my personality type, some types of people just don't mush with me. They don't, you know what I mean? Like the cogs don't fit. Like if you're like highly analytical and you want to like quantify like every single number, fact, stat thing and analyze it down to the nitty-gritty, then I might not be the guy to come and partner with and work with. Because it's not that I'm not tracking things. It's not that I'm not paying attention to numbers, absolutely, but I'm not worried. That's not my cup of tea. I'm not trying to figure it out and like analyze it and do that. So I might not speak to that type of person. So there's definitely been a few of those types of people along the way that I've said, hey, you should maybe go check out my buddy over here. This guy probably is the guy that you could like get more from.
That's cool. That's cool. So you let them off gently and you say, here, I think this might serve you better. Pretty cool.
Right. Well, because think about this in the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking to someone, let's say you're talking to someone, and let's just give a better example than that. Let's give one that will be like kind of superficial, but it'll make a point. Let's say you get onto the phone with someone, and they have a very high-pitched voice, like so high-pitched that it literally hurts your ears to listen to them talk, right? And the whole entire time they're complaining, right, about all the problems they've had in the past. You already don't want to listen to them. I'm being honest, right? You already don't want to be on the phone. Is that someone that you would really want to like talk into getting into your business? Is that someone that you would want to be on the phone with? Is that someone that you would want to build a relationship with, right? And I think of it like that, like build a relationship, because I'm a networker that's working online, right? I'm not an internet marketer, so I'm not just marketing things on the internet. I'm a networker that's working online. So I'm thinking about that. I'm like, listen, am I going to want to be like talking to this complaining person like over like each week? Is this someone that I'm going to want coming over to my daily call that's going to be complaining in the chat? Like, is this someone that I'm going to want to work with? Or is it that this person is just having that one time, they're just letting out a little, you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, definitely there's times I think where we want to be conscientious of who we're working with. And are those people that we feel that we can work with and harmoniously and be helpful?
Absolutely. The great thing about this industry is that you can choose who you want to work with. So that there's something for everyone. So that is great. That is great to know. I have another question for you. Okay. So how do you posture yourself so that the person that you're speaking to on the other end of the phone doesn't feel pressured at all? Do you use some key phrases that puts them at ease? How do you do that?
Yeah, I pretty much I do like reverse posture, and I know it sounds weird, but I try not to like, because of how I speak and because of my personality type. When I push too hard, I push hard. Like, I don't know how else to push you other than hard. So when I do that, it comes across a lot of times as way, way, way overly aggressive. So I learned early on that wasn't serving me at all. It was starting to hinder me, and I was getting frustrated. And so what I did was I kind of like let loose, like kind of let go a little bit. And so when I say I like reverse posture, my posture is this: I'm doing it. I followed some directions that other people, lots of other people, right, have been a part of the process of teaching and developing me into a better leader so that I could go out and create a home-based business, create a business from my home. And so I don't have to, It's not required. It's no longer. I no longer have to do any. That does not. It doesn't. It's not a part of the mix, right? I don't have to put on any posturing. The posturing is because it is. Period. It is because it is, because if you're calling me asking for the advice, then there's automatically already posture. I don't have to do or say anything to make it more. It already exists. As long as I believe that, that's it. Then I'm postured, right? Then that it already exists. Now the way that I reverse posture is I just be me. I just really be me, and I'm like, hey, what's up? How are you? You are on my website. What are you looking to do? How can I help you? How can I help you to build what are you looking to do? They'll tell you. They'll tell you exactly what they want to do. If you let them, they'll tell you their entire life story.
Yeah, they will.
Most of the time, this is how I reverse posture. I don't let them tell me their whole life story. Instead of asking a bunch of questions on the front end, I ask 1 or 2 questions, and then I ask them if I can have their permission to tell them a quick story. And I tell them a little bit about how I was able to quit my job and start working from home. By doing that, then when I ask them a few more questions and they tell me their life story, they don't feel like whatever I told them was to fit what they told me. You see, mine was totally independent of that. Then when it mushes, and then when I can tie the strings together, the knots are solid. It's like one of those little Chinese finger things, you know, when you stick your fingers in, you can't pull them out.
Yeah.
Right? That's the reversal. Because in the beginning, I was hearing everyone talk about posture, and I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to posture. Because I was trying to fake it, and I was like, this isn't. I didn't know that can just be like when people were like, well, how are you doing it? In the beginning, once I learned that, I was like, well, dude, I'm brand new. I just got started. What I'm excited about is I get to work with these people that are crushing it. That was the difference. See, I didn't have to get all weird and be like, oh well, I'm not doing good, and like fake like I was awesome or that I was doing something. I was like, well, dude, I just got started. But I'm excited because I tapped into a group of people, or I'm working with these leaders and they're awesome, and check this out. Then it was easy. Now I have posture. How do I have posture? Because I just mentioned that I'm working with those leaders. So now the guy on the phone's like, wow, you're working with them? How do I do that? Come on with me.
Yeah, posture is great. And you mentioned story. Storytelling is powerful. When you tell of your experience, you resonate with the other person on the other end of the phone. So it's important to tell your story, how you got into this and how you were before and where you are now because of the people that you have collaborated with, the people that you have joined, or this strategy that you have used. The storytelling is an amazing tool in the arsenal because, you know, from as we were children, we loved to hear stories, and as adults, we still love to hear stories, and we can resonate with stories. So that's extremely powerful. So yeah, and you also spoke about attraction marketing. You put yourself out there, you put your story out there, and people are naturally attracted to you, and that also builds your posture. And it also, there's a lot of mindset that goes into the mix. How do you work on your mindset? We know that this is like an everyday thing. How do you work on your mindset?
Absolutely. Well, let me say first off that I believe, this is just my personal belief, I believe that personal development is the most important tool. I think that we can go and look at any successful leader in any industry, and the thing that allowed them to have success was that they developed as a person. They became a better person, a more educated person, a more refined marketer, a better surgeon, a better orator, a better legislator, right? All of these different things when we develop as people. And so, first of all, vigilance is essential. I didn't stop training, right? We talked about doing that, calling all those people last summer, right? Now, from then until now, I've prospected hundreds, maybe thousands of people that I've called. I'm proficient on the telephone. I have acquired this skill for sure, right? That's that's demonstrable, whatever that word is, right? Demonstrable, right? I can demonstrate that. I can show that by my experience.
Right.
That doesn't stop me from more development. I mean, just 2 months ago, we just finished I did another training course with Bill Pesco-Solido. If you go and listen to Bill's training and how Bill prospects, and then you listen to me right now, you're like, what? Listen, the base of everything I do, whether you can extrapolate how I got there or not, comes from that. Those were the one individual thing that I learned at a time. That's where I learned it. I just adapted it into what would work for me. In the very beginning, I said it probably word for word, verbatim, that one sentence, until it came into my conversation every single time, right? I got a little distracted. But I think I'm getting so excited about that because it's important that personal development stays a part of your routine. If you're not constantly training, if you're not constantly learning to develop, then what are you doing? Right? Like if you don't have a mentor right now, who are you following? Like if you're not following someone, then you're assuming, I guess, you're at the lead of the pack? I don't know. I haven't got there yet to the front of the pack. So I'm following, right? I'm following these people that are showing me how to do it. And that's it. You got to continue to develop. So one way to continue that development is to continue training in big ways, like training programs like the one I mentioned, right? Like other things like this 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge that's coming up, right? That we did. That's another way that you can continue to develop. I personally read every single day, right? One of the books that I read like over and over and over is a Dale Carnegie book, right?
What's the name of that book?
How to make friends, win friends, and influence people, right? That one? Right? I don't know. I've read it so many times I don't even know the title, right? It just over and over. I just keep reading it. I set it down, I pick it up. I set it down, I keep picking it up. And in between, I read other books. I do crazy stuff. I mean, I'm not kidding. When people are like, what are you doing? I watch TED Talks, and I saw these different scientists and different people talk about smiling. When I'm in a bad mood, I bite on a pencil and I smile. So a physiological deal. Makes you smile, endorphins happen. See, made me smile just by biting on the pencil. I do power poses, right? It's like a form of meditation where I literally visualize myself helping people. I visualize myself being the leader that people want to communicate to, that they want to come to for advice, that I visualize myself with a massive team, that I'm helping people, that I'm traveling around the world. Those are the things I think about, and that's what happens. When you think about things, they become real. You know when you think about things and how you have a bad attitude all day, and the guy at the counter, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and by the time you're halfway through your day, you're really angry and upset? You make that. We make that. So I just try to keep it upbeat. I try to program myself with positive messages, and I try to surround myself with other people that are doing the same thing. And that will develop you as a person. Stop hanging around with the guy that, if you want to get in shape, you don't hang out with people that eat at Taco Bell, right? You hang out with people that are working out and going to the gym. Same thing. If you want to become a better person, you work with people that are trying to become better people themselves.
That brings that positive energy to you. What you think is what you become. What you say brings that to you. So it's all there in the mindset. It's all a domino effect. And just like Bert and myself, even the great leaders do mindset training every single day. They always are working on their mindset because it's essential. It's essential in this industry. It's essential in this life. Now, Bert, you mentioned the 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge. And this is the platform that launched you. It started you into your superstar status. Do you highly recommend it? What are the key things that helped you? What did you learn from your experience in the 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge?
Well, coming into the challenge, I had just quit my job, so I was really trying to build a business online. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really have an idea of how I was supposed to build an MLM or get leads, but I knew that lead pool had dwindled because I was no longer, I worked in a war where I had this, like all my customers were there at my 9-to-5 job. So coming into it, I hadn't had online experience. Obviously, I wasn't, I barely, I had just been in My Lead System Pro, so I didn't know how to prospect. I didn't know how to do anything, really. And when I joined the 100-day challenge, it gave me like a framework. It gave me now a plan, right? Like, okay, we're going to sit you down. This is what you do. Now go do this. Okay, now go do this. Now go do this. Now go do A, B, and C all together, right? And so it gave you that kind of like the building blocks. Like it's like kind of like building a stairwell as you go, so now you can walk up the stairs. That's what it gave me, right? And I mean, there's so many things that transpired, like even during the 100-day challenge. I did my very first, this is crazy. You were there, Mina.
Yes.
Deja vu, you were there. I did my very first webinar, right? My very first video training webinar was during that challenge, and we ranked videos, right? Remember that? And we went so fast that it didn't happen right away, and so like 15 minutes later, you're like, oh, it happened, right? Like it didn't happen right away, and the webinar ended, and then you're like, okay, it happened. I'm at the top of YouTube. This is awesome. Yeah. So we got to do things like that. We got, I had like my, just some huge milestones, like my first $1,000 day online, working from home, like all kinds of these things happened during the challenge. And then I came out of the challenge and had an opportunity to work with Bill and Michelle Pasco-Solido, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, right? Like I couldn't believe it. I was new. I didn't know. I was like, this is going to be amazing. And it was, right? It was. Being able to take that 100 days and then go and work with some amazing leaders and go and build a home-based business. Literally, go in overnight, just go and just make a massive team. Learn all kinds of new things. That's what the challenge did for me. Like, if I wouldn't have done that challenge, what would have happened? Would I have had that boost? Would I have been able to come out and, build a massive team, do all those, you know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of, like, awards and all that nonsense that I can list, but it doesn't matter. What matters was, it was successful. It worked. I did good. I never had to go back to that job, right? I haven't had to go back and get a day job. So the 100-day challenge gave me a fundamental foundation on how to build a home-based business and the tools that I required so that I could go and be successful. So much so that the growth started during the challenge itself and literally has continued to proliferate.
And what was key and what made you so successful is that you did as you were told. People can go into the challenge and not do as they're told, but you are coachable. And when you're coachable and you do what the leaders tell you, you see the results. That is essential and that is key. And I think a lot of people, they worry when they don't see results right away, but you're not supposed to see the results right away. You will see little glimmers of that result appear as you keep on doing it day in and day out, and that's the key to it.
That's absolutely right. It's absolutely right. It's about consistency, like the fact that after the challenge we had this amazing, like we were able to go and build this team, right? Everyone was like, wow, what are you doing? How are you doing that? Oh my gosh, right? But check this out. They only saw all this recruiting. They only saw, us building this team right there. They didn't see the 100 days that came before that. They didn't see that I was building these relationships for over 3 months. Yeah. People didn't know that before that 100 days I was struggling. You know what I mean? Like in my basement, I made 60 cents for a trial, and I was like, yeah, I made 60-cent commission. And my wife now, but my fiance at that time was like, if you show me a 60-cent commission one more time, I'm gonna throw your your phone out the window. Like, it's 60 cents, dude. Like, that's not helping us. You know what I mean? But to me, it was like, woohoo! So you make massive, massive strides.
It does. It does. And for those of you who are here today, if you have not taken part in the 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge. You can see the success that has produced here. We're going to put out an offer if you want to take a look at that. I'll show that to you right now. This is something, I've taken part of this, and I've seen great strides in my business as Bert has. It is totally worth it. And the great thing about the 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge is that this is something that you have and you'll have access to do even after the challenge is over, so that you can go back and review what you've learned and re-implement and do it over again, because it's those consistent daily steps that you need to take every single day to grow your business online. So Bert, any final words? Do you have any resources that people can tap into to just, in terms of prospecting or anything, to just help them keep growing their business online?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me over onto your webinar today. I really I appreciate you, Mina, for taking the time. I've had the opportunity to develop a relationship with you over the last year and a half now. It seems crazy that it's been a year and a half. It's gone so fast.
Quickly. Yes.
Yeah, so quick. I would say if you want to, if you're watching this video, first of all, if you're watching this video and you're not connected to Mina, go find Mina, find out what she's doing, find her on Facebook, find her website, find her on YouTube. There's going to be links around the video somewhere around here, right? And in the thing, if you're watching this later, if you're not here live, and talk to her about My Lead System Pro, about this system that we're using. And I would say the very basics is start there. That was the foundation, right? That's where I started everything. If you want to look into prospecting, there's a product back there by a successful online marketer, right? That's crushing it, that you can get the secrets. You can find out the formula. You can get the framework to prospecting right in the back office. It's right there. Anyone can go and grab it, right? So that's a resource right there. Guys, I'm kind of like whatever you call it, like uni-focused or whatever. Like, why go away from in the back of My Lead System Pro when the leaders that are in there are there to help you? Like, they've proven it over and over and over again, and it's right there for you. So that's where I would go first, right? Is there other places outside of there? I'm sure there are. I can't tell you what they are because you need them. They weren't required. Like, I'm just being, right, you said be candid. I'm being honest. Like, I learned from what Bill said, literally, and I just made it into what, over time melted it into what I would say, and that's it. I didn't go learn from someone else because this way's working. Like, why would I need to? You know what I mean? Like, it's not that, and I don't want to say, like, it's not that I'm not developing anymore. Like, I got the free one. It worked. I used it. There was a course. I did it. I'm using it. It's working. When I get to that next place, that next time where I feel like it's time to take that next jump, then I'll do some more personal development. But I would say get with Mina, get into the back office, get that trial. There's like a $10 trial for 10 days. You can check out the whole entire system, right? Check that out and see what that has to offer you. And then if you want to take your business to the next level and you really want some like step-by-step guidance on how to do that and you want to plan, then take Mina's offer. Check out this 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge. Mina has done it. I've done it. Countless other people have done it, and we're getting results. Continued sustainable results where you can have success and continue to build your business. And by now, guys, I'm not like, putting on a car salesman suit and like out here with balloons and signs beating you overhead with the offer. The offer and our experience and results speak for themselves. So if it's something that you would like to do, if you want to get those types of results, then get the offer, get the 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge, get with Mina, and let's start building your business so that you can be prosperous and you can have the freedoms that you want to find. That's what I would say to close it out, Mina.
And I think that is an amazing closeout. And we are just about done. I would like to thank everybody. Let's see who is out there and give a shout out to people with us. think it's Michelle. Hey, Michelle. I see Shell. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Hi, Shellin. Oh my gosh. Is that correct? She was on the call this morning, Bert. I saw that you had brought her out.
It's Jalen. Yep.
Shellin? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Daryl. Thank you for being on the call today. Thank you. You guys will get a copy of this webinar so you can go back and review and get those golden nuggets that Bert has shared with us today. Now, I don't know if I've introduced myself. Have I introduced myself on this webinar? I was so excited to get started.
I don't know that you really told everyone. I don't think that you told everyone how to get a hold of you and how to find you, and I think that's probably essential.
All right. So, well, let me tell you. My name is Mina. I come from New York City. I live in the borough of Queens. I like to call myself the tenacious entrepreneur, meaning that I never give up. I like to take strategies and learn them well and master them, and then teach them so that you can grow into success with me. You can find me on Facebook. My fan page is Mina G. Palakibai. If you do the facebook.com and the / it'd be empowered by Mina Palakibai. You can also find me on YouTube, Mina G. Palakibai. And when I can, I come and jump on Bert's Hangouts. Come by and say hi. I really appreciate you, Bert. Thank you, Bert, once again for taking the time out to do this webinar, and everybody else who has been with us here today. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you on any social media. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Mina.
Thanks, Bert.